unfolding Meek Mill and Diddy drama, but sometimes silence speaks the loudest.
I'm at a point in my life like, we all grew up in the streets.
After Jaguar Wright made a bold claim that Nicki was the one who leaked the now infamous audio of Meek and Diddy arguing, the internet instantly went into investigation mode. And the results? Let's just say things aren't looking good for Meek Mill right now. While Nicki hasn't said a single word publicly, the timing of everything feels a little too perfect, almost like this was a calculated move, years in the making, just waiting for the right moment to strike.
Hey, what's up, King Son? Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, Daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you. Yeah.
And when you look at it through that lens, the silence becomes strategic. Nicki might have been sitting on this information, letting it simmer, just waiting to turn the tables and shut down Meek's current narrative, the one where he paints himself as Diddy's manipulated victim, starring in a sad little redemption arc that suddenly feels manufactured. Because let's not forget, if Nicki really was behind the leak, she knows exactly how deep this story goes. She's seen the inside. She knows the context. And her decision to stay quiet, that might be more damaging than words. Now, here's where it all escalates.
Wait,
Yeah.
what does that sound authentic?
It absolutely. Oh my God.
You get these vulnerable people, parents are letting you do this because they want to make it so badly.
Yeah.
And then you record them probably and say, if you do anything, we got this on you.
Back in March of last year, a clip hit the internet that completely shattered timelines across social media. A leaked audio recording, allegedly capturing a moment between Meek and Diddy, quickly went viral. The tone, far from professional. The internet lit up with fans dissecting the voices, dropping timestamps, and breaking it down like it was courtroom evidence. Meek responded fast. He claimed the clip was AI generated, another deepfake, a digital setup. He said it was a smear campaign designed to take him down. But if the truth behind that leak connects back to Nicki, this story's just getting started, and the fallout could hit way harder than anyone expected. Meek Mill went straight to social media after the audio leak, dropping lines like, "My voice is so powerful, they wanted it gone." He blamed bots, digital warfare, and hinted at an elite smear campaign targeting him. But the internet?
They had a recording of Meek and Diddy.
Making love?
I don't know if it was love.
Okay, you have it? Let's hear it. What? Yo, wait a minute. Wait,
You didn't hear this?
no.
Now, Miran,
Yeah.
what does that sound authentic?
It
for him
absolutely.
again.
Oh my God.
Not convinced. That spin didn't land. Because long before that audio surfaced, there were already whispers. Not about business meetings or music deals, but about Meek and Diddy's unusually close connection. We're talking matching fits, private flights, inside jokes, surprise gifts, and hugs that felt a little too familiar. And the public took notes. So when the tape hit timelines, it wasn't shock, it was confirmation. People weren't surprised. They were like, "We've been new." That's when Jaguar Wright jumped in and flipped the conversation upside down. Known for shaking the room every time she speaks, Jaguar dropped a bomb, claiming it was Nicki Minaj who recorded the audio. Not only that, she said it happened at a wild private party out in Calabasas, what she called a freak-off. According to her, Nicki held onto that tape like a nuke, just waiting for the right time to hit the button. And if Jaguar's telling the truth, this changes everything. That means Nicki's been sitting on this audio since her breakup with Meek, keeping it locked away, waiting for the perfect storm. Even more intense,
He got Meek Mill, and it's all coming out in a lawsuit. Mill was named in Diddy's latest lawsuit, and it is not looking good.
Jaguar claimed Nicki originally had no plan to expose Diddy. The tape wasn't meant for him, it was for Meek. But now that Diddy's entire empire is cracking under pressure, she had no reason to keep his name hidden. And if that's the case, the silence from Nicki, it's not hesitation, it's a strategy. And the chessboard just got way more complicated. Suddenly the audio surfaces. Meek's scrambling to explain, and Nicki? She's over there sipping wine and liking tweets like it's just another calm Tuesday. Still, some dismissed the situation. saying Jaguar Wright always brings drama. But then, out of nowhere, an old Nicki clip started making the rounds. And that changed everything. In a quiet podcast appearance from way back, Nicki casually mentioned that Meek likes controversy. She said he's the kind of person who enjoys being talked about, even when the topic is messy. At the time, it sounded like typical X talk. Maybe a little shady, but nothing too deep. Now, that clip is making waves for a whole different reason. Fans are calling it Nicki's soft launch for chaos. A warning shot, a planted seed, something to look back on once everything fell apart. Because in that moment, her tone wasn't bitter. It was confident, like she already knew the storm was just waiting for the right time to let it unfold. With the resurfaced clip, the internet's buzzing.
We got a lawsuit, so the Lil Rod lawsuit we got.
Yeah, I read through the whole thing.
And it didn't mention Meek by name, but there was a footnote.
A Philly rapper who used to date
the name
Nicki Minaj.
It was like a Jeopardy question.
Duh, who is that? There could only be one person on the planet. Unless there's a Philly rapper that also dated Nicki that no one knows about, it's obviously Meek Mill.
So essentially, I reacted to, I literally found out on stream, I'm like, yo, no way Meek Mill was in these freak.
People are saying Nicki's playing chess, Meek's out here playing Connect 4. And the way things are lining up, they might not be wrong. As lawsuits heat up and Meek's narrative keeps changing, Nicki's silence looks more like strategy than coincidence. She's calm, unbothered, and somehow always one move ahead. So once the Nicki leaked it theory started gaining traction, Meek visibly panicked. He hit social media hard, not just with complaints, but with action. Suddenly, he's tweeting about how his reputation is being targeted. And then came the big one. He offered $100,000 to uncover the person behind the so-called smear campaign, claimed someone was spreading false narratives tied to Calabasas. But if he truly believed that, then whoever recorded that audio might just hold the key to everything unraveling. He wanted names, and fast. But the internet responded quickly, and not in his favor. Critics immediately called out the move, saying, if you're truly innocent, why offer a whole house deposit to make it disappear? It came off less like confidence and more like desperation, either guilty or deeply afraid of what else might leak.
You think that audio that they put out was real?
Yeah, that was real. Nicki put that out there. That Nicki recorded that at the freak off.
Making matters worse, fans caught something suspicious. Meek had deleted old tweets defending Diddy, the very figure he's now actively distancing himself from. One moment he's praising Diddy as a king, claiming people are unfairly dragging his name. The next, he's erasing the praise and playing online detective. People ask the obvious, what changed? Why now? Why the cleanup crew energy all of it? Came the lawsuit that sent shockwaves through the industry, the Lil Rod case. Dozens of pages filled with staggering allegations, but one line in particular had everyone stop cold. It referenced a Philadelphia rapper who once dated Nicki Minaj, implying this individual exchanged personal favors with Diddy in return for career opportunities. The clues weren't subtle, and neither was the fallout. That line lit the internet on fire. Then the narrative took an even darker turn, centered on an infamous 2014 birthday bash, a celebration allegedly held at a lavish Parisian-style mansion in Las Vegas. But this wasn't just a typical A-list party with champagne and celebrity selfies. According to claims tied to that night, the atmosphere was something else entirely, eerily exclusive, heavily guarded, and far more secretive than any red carpet event. It's the kind of gathering where reputations are either made or permanently damaged. And now, as new information continues to surface, that one party is becoming central to everything unraveling. According to reports, this was Diddy throwing a no-limit celebration for Meek Mill, an extravagant birthday bash that quickly spiraled into something far more controversial.
Calabasas. She been waiting to drop that shit on Meek.
Oh, man.
She just wasn't gonna tell nobody it was Diddy. But now that Diddy out there, why not?
What allegedly happened inside that Las Vegas mansion has become a lightning rod for speculation and internet whispers. Once the party ended, the aftermath painted a disturbing picture. The property manager, Jason Haight, reportedly discovered broken glass, traces of narcotics, blood-stained sheets, and used condoms scattered throughout the estate. The scene didn't resemble a typical celebrity party. It looked more like the aftermath of something far more chaotic, something the public was never supposed to see. But the real shock wasn't just the debris, it was who was allegedly tied to the scene. Multiple reports began pointing fingers directly at both Meek Mill and Diddy, and yet despite everything swirling around, Meek still went online and tweeted his public support for Diddy. He wished him well, stood by his side, and acted as if nothing was amiss, even as online audiences demanded answers and accountability. However, not long after fans began to push back, that tweet vanished, deleted with no explanation. A digital disappearing act that left more questions than answers. Why defend someone so publicly, only to scrub the less spontaneous and more suspiciously orchestrated? Audiences aren't just raising eyebrows at isolated incidents. They're beginning to question the entire dynamic between the two. Was it simple friendship? A mentorship built on mutual benefit? Or was there something happening behind the scenes that only one of them truly wanted hidden? The questions are growing louder as new revelations continue to surface. And here's where the entire narrative takes a dramatic turn. With lawsuits mounting, damning footage going viral, and deleted posts stacking up, Meek Mill has reportedly shifted his stance. Word circulating behind the scenes suggests that Meek is now reframing his role in this saga. He's allegedly portraying himself not as a participant, but as someone manipulated, possibly even coerced by Diddy. According to the evolving narrative, Diddy was too powerful in the music world, and opposing him could have meant career suicide. Meek, according to these claims, felt trapped under the weight of Diddy's influence, unable to say no without risking everything. And to be fair, Diddy's industry reach is legendary. A cosign from him can launch a career, while a fallout can reportedly erase one. He's had a presence so dominant that artists often speak of him like a gatekeeper, one whose approval opens doors most never even see. But here's what's raising concern: the timing. If Meek truly felt manipulated, why didn't this come out earlier? Not when the Vegas stories made headlines. Not when the Drink Champs episode resurfaced. Not when the leaked tape spread across social media. Only now, when Diddy faces public and legal backlash, is this coercion angle coming to light. To some observers, this new victim narrative looks like strategy, a calculated pivot meant to salvage reputation. To others, it's a last-ditch effort to rewrite history before even more damaging truths are exposed. It's starting to sound like the only card left in Meek's deck. Whether it's a survival tactic or calculated pivot, this shift is dramatic, especially considering the tough tweets and loud support he was showing Diddy just a few months back. If Meek were the only artist with such a questionable connection, the public might dismiss it as speculation. But once the lens widens, a far more concerning pattern begins to take shape. Think about how aggressively Meek's music was promoted during that time. Think about how often he and Diddy were seen together, celebrating birthdays, toasting champagne, sharing stages and photo ops. It's not just the frequency of those moments, it's their familiarity. The same kind of celebrations, the same kind of smiles, and the same exact silence when the real questions started piling up. Some fans on social media began calling it the Diddy deal, a tongue-in-cheek way to describe what they believe is a transaction, loyalty or something more in exchange for access to fame, power, and exposure in the industry. And when viewed in that light, Meek's trajectory starts to resemble more than just coincidence. Because this situation doesn't feel isolated anymore. It appears connected to a broader cycle. Young artists aligning with Diddy, experiencing a meteoric rise, then gradually disappearing from the spotlight once the dynamic shifts. But Meek Meek might be paying the steepest price yet. Instead of fading quietly, he tried to rewrite his story midstream, and the internet wasn't having it. Throughout the lawsuits, the leaked recordings, resurfaced podcast clips, and chaotic social media fallout, there's been one major silence that continues to echo: Nicki Minaj. No statements, no tweets, no subtweets, not even a reaction. And that's exactly what has people the most on edge. Because if Jaguar Wright's claim is true, if Nicki was behind the leaked audio, or if she even has more ammunition, then Meek is skating on dangerously thin ice. He's already battling the fallout of what's been made public. But if there's more, he might be facing something even worse. Nicki has been accused, mentioned, and dragged into the chaos. Yet she hasn't flinched. She hasn't taken the bait. She's letting the speculation build quietly. She's letting Meek spiral, trying to explain his way out of an unraveling narrative. It's as if she's holding every single card, simply waiting for the exact moment to place one down and flip the entire table. And fans are starting to feel the tension too. Some say she's already caused irreversible damage simply by staying silent, watching others fold under pressure. Others believe she's sitting on something even bigger, something that could shatter Meek's last line of defense, a receipt so precise it would erase the coercion excuse, dismantle any lingering sympathy, and expose the entire victim angle as a crafted illusion. Right now, Meek Mill appears caught in a desperate cycle of denial, distraction, and damage control. The leaked audio cracked the foundation of his image. The lawsuits widened those cracks. The Vegas party rumors and awkward viral clips took those fractures and split them wide open. Now, with attention mounting and timelines exposing inconsistencies, he's attempting to shift the story, portraying himself as a pawn trapped inside an industry ruled by influence and coercion. But even if there's truth to that, it doesn't erase the optics. The timeline, the silence, and the contradictions have stacked up. And through it all, Nicki Minaj has remained completely still. Whether she's quietly holding a nuclear-level revelation or simply allowing Meek's own moves to destroy what's left, one thing is increasingly clear. If she decides to speak, it won't be in Meek's defense. It'll be the final word, the closer, the checkmate. Now we want to hear from you. Is Nicki Minaj staying silent as part of a long strategy? Or is Meek Mill simply unraveling without any outside push? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's unpack it all. And if you found this breakdown compelling, hit that like button, subscribe for more no-fluff analysis, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's next. Because if you think this saga was wild, trust us. The next chapter in hip-hop chaos is already heating up. We'll see you there.
Yo, Saw, what's up?
Yeah, y'all already know how we playing out this real life.
Real life.
No Diddy gang, Meek Mill in real life. Don't ever disrespect me, you
Talk
heard?
that shit, Meek. Yeah, Meek.
Busta Rhymes is facing serious pressure from someone tied to his past. An alleged former associate now threatening to release compromising material.
Burger baby.
So someone from his posse goes up to the front and says, "Can you take my order first? We're very important people."
Oh my God, how much do you hate him?
Now this is...
Okay, that's not Busta Rhymes, that's his crew, but it's still unacceptable. If we were all hanging out and somebody went up and said, "Please, we're very important people," I'd be so mortified.
According to Stephanie Vittori, the owner of the spot,
reports suggest the material in question is a private video, reportedly placing Busta in highly sensitive and vulnerable situations. The footage, if real, could be extremely damaging both personally and professionally. His inner circle is already in motion, preparing a full legal assault. They're aiming to silence the individual before the footage leaks, threatening lawsuits strong enough to financially dismantle anyone attempting distribution. Industry insiders confirm that Busta's legal team is taking the threat seriously, showing no hesitation in protecting his image.
I seen you talking about Busta Rhymes before.
Oh yeah.
In some of your videos.
Oh yeah. Super zest monster. For sure, bro. That's my thing, bro. Like, this been common knowledge though. Like, all my promoter homies would always say, man, you know, we gotta bring some we got to bring some, what they call them, I'm not going to say it over here. They call them fun boys. They'll say we got to have some fun boys in the section for Busta.
As expected, rumors are now circulating with growing intensity. Online gossip forums are ablaze, with speculation about Busta's history and old affiliations. Whispers point to shadowy past relationships, some dating back to the late 90s and early 2000s. There are mentions of connections to individuals living double lives within the entertainment scene. One theory making rounds links the situation to a broader conversation recently reignited by big homie CC during an interview on The Art of Dialogue. CC hinted at certain artists' private preferences, referencing past affiliations with individuals operating under the radar. Though no direct names were mentioned, the timing of the claims aligns with this new controversy.
He says, you know, I'm about to go in this club. You know, we got a section. You know, you can come in with me if you want. And I'm like, what? For real? Like, that's what's up. Like, he was like, yeah. I was like, well, I gotta, you know, tell my people. I was like, I come in. You know what I'm saying? He was like, okay, just let me know, you know, tell them that you coming in there to meet with me and come on up. And I was like, bet. So, of course, I'm excited. You know what I'm saying? Busta Rhymes is one of my favorite artists of all time, and back then I was really on my rap.
To add more intrigue, social media users recall moments from Busta's past, including his award show appearances alongside a known trans woman, raising questions about what has long remained unspoken in public. The flamboyant outfits Busta Rhymes wore during his early career aren't helping to quiet the ongoing speculation. Combined with a resurfaced image allegedly showing Busta leaving a Pride-related event alongside a well-known trans woman, the internet's appetite for gossip has grown louder. What started as a whisper is now a full-blown media wildfire fueled by digital sleuths. Digging deeper, social media users and online commentators are reviving old allegations, including unconfirmed stories linking Busta to private celebrity gatherings reportedly hosted by Diddy. These events, often described as elite-only and highly secretive, have long been surrounded by controversy. But Busta isn't letting these claims spread without resistance. He's fighting back with legal threats and public denials, signaling that he intends to defend his reputation aggressively.
They call them fun boys. They'll say we gotta have some fun boys in the section for Busta. Bro, Busta Rhymes wanted him in his section so bad. Like, what? Pulled him to the section, like through the rope, and tucked him off in the corner. So I'm looking like, well, he ain't come with us.
Yet public sympathy appears limited. His past comments, which critics say came off as dismissive or even hostile toward openly gay artists in hip-hop, have resurfaced. Stands out, where Busta abruptly ended the conversation after being asked about LGBTQ+ inclusion in the genre. His stance at the time was clear. He distanced himself strongly from the idea, claiming that it conflicted with his cultural foundation. Now, with rumors of a sensitive tape in circulation and questions about a possible anonymous former partner, the narrative is shifting fast. The mystery around the alleged footage only adds fuel to the fire. Is this just another celebrity smear attempt, or is there more beneath the surface? What exactly is on that tape? Who is the man reportedly connected to it? And how deep does this situation truly go?
I'm walking, New York City, you know, going to a club. It was Halloween weekend, you know, everybody was out. And it was this party we was going to, me, my boy, and his friend that had came in from Detroit. Friend that had came in from Detroit. And I'm walking across the street and Busta Rhymes just grabbed my hand. And he holding my hand. Now I didn't know it was Busta at first. You know, Busta Rhymes tall. I'm short. I came up to about right here. So the first thing I noticed was this big ass flip mode.
Busta Rhymes is reportedly under intense pressure as rumors swirl about a damaging video linked to a former associate. According to circulating reports, an alleged ex-partner claims to possess private footage of Busta in compromising situations and is now threatening to sell it through dark web channels to the highest bidder. The situation has triggered a high alert response. Sources indicate Busta's legal team and inner circle are working around the clock to contain potential fallout, using every tool at their disposal to prevent the footage from surfacing. Behind the scenes, damage control efforts appear to be in full motion. No one has confirmed what's on the tape, but that hasn't stopped speculation. Fans and critics are connecting the current controversies that resurfaced recently, specifically the claims made by Big Homie CC during a high-profile interview on The Art of Dialogue.
Bro, on my soul, I'm out with a group of people. At this time, I was with Don Benjamin. You familiar with him?
No, never heard of him.
Model dude, like a model guy. He be doing like some rapping and stuff. His name Don Benjamin. I'm out with Don Benjamin, and the club we ended up going to, Busta Rhymes in there. So it was a little lawyer guy that was with us. And the little lawyer guy we was with, you know, he was a gay dude, super cool, feel me, good guy. Bro, Busta Rhymes wanted him in his section so bad. Like, what? Pulled him to the section, like through the rope.
Big Homie.
In that interview, Big Homie CC described Busta's alleged behavior at exclusive nightclubs, saying Busta would instruct his crew to find and escort younger, attractive men into his VIP section. Those remarks, while unverified, have taken on new weight amid the current scandal. What makes the situation even more volatile is the timing. With celebrity scandals escalating and public tolerance for secrecy declining, any verified footage, regardless of content, could send shockwaves through Busta's brand, career, and legacy. In the latest twist to the growing controversy, Big Homie CC revealed a detailed account involving Busta Rhymes, actor-model Don Benjamin, and an unnamed acquaintance. During a night at a high-profile club, Big Homie claims Busta took an immediate and intense interest in one of Don's close friends, who happened to be openly gay.
So, I hear somebody say, oh, he's cute, I want him. So when I heard that, I turned around like, yeah, did he just say that? They got all this jewelry to attract some men in here? You wild. Shocked me. But sure enough.
And that was the guy that Busta Rhymes pulled back?
He pulled him into the section. Pulled him into the section, and then they walled him off like this man. I'm like, damn. And that little dude was so happy. He couldn't believe that. He was.
According to the story, the moment Busta saw the man, his focus shifted completely. He allegedly brought the individual straight into his VIP section, maintaining close proximity for the remainder of the night. The energy, Big Homie said, was territorial, as if Busta didn't want anyone else getting near. But this wasn't portrayed as a one-off incident. Big Homie insisted this kind of behavior was routine whenever Busta hit the nightlife circuit. Promoters, he claimed, were well aware of what Busta preferred, allegedly sending hand-picked men directly to his VIP section as part of an unspoken arrangement. Adding fuel to the speculation, Big Homie recounted how Busta would lavish compliments on the man, praising his appearance and keeping him close throughout the night. He painted a picture of someone fully in control of the VIP environment, orchestrating every detail with intention. More importantly, Big Homie didn't frame this as an isolated phase or experimental moment. He claimed that within the industry, whispers about Busta's alleged down-low lifestyle have persisted for over a decade. When asked why no one ever publicly addressed it, Big Homie offered a clear explanation.
Rare picture of Busta Rhymes and Diddy's boyfriend having a good time.
Looking powerful, King. You're looking great, King. Looking amazing, King. What's about you?
Too many people in the business want to maintain access. That VIP access, he claimed, keeps mouths shut. Then came the heaviest part of the commentary. Big Homie shifted the focus from private preference to public conduct. Specifically, Busta's long-rumored temper and alleged history of violence, particularly toward women. That revelation shifted the tone of the conversation from curiosity to concern, hinting that the unfolding story may have far more layers than first assumed. Big Homie CC suggested there may be deeper psychological layers to the ongoing controversy surrounding Busta Rhymes. According to him, there's a pattern among certain powerful figures in entertainment, allegedly including Diddy, and in this case possibly Busta, where suppressed identity issues create tension that often manifests as hostility toward others, particularly women. This idea isn't just based on anecdotal experiences. Academic research has explored how internalized homophobia can be linked to aggression, particularly in private relationships.
How long has it been like this known about Busta Rhymes?
Well, I knew about this like in 2012. I knew about this in 2012.
How come you think nobody else speaks up on it or says anything?
Because, bro, these people admire these people so much. They want to make sure they in the section, they at the club, they at the video shoot, they can get backstage. That matters most to them. That matters so much to people. It's crazy. Like, but if you notice, like, there's countless videos of Busta Rhymes getting mad at females for just being girls.
And this ain't just Big Homie's personal take, nah. There's actual research out there showing that internal homophobia is tied to domestic violence, straight up. Now, when it comes to Busta, his homophobia ain't no secret, even though he ain't as loud about it these days. Peep this. According to an old Entertainment Weekly article from '07, when they asked Busta if the hip-hop and rap scene should be showing more love to gay rappers, Busta straight up bounced,
The suggestion is that unresolved inner conflict may drive unpredictable or even violent behavior toward others as a form of misdirected resentment. Busta Rhymes' past comments and actions have fueled this discussion. His position on LGBTQ+ topics, particularly in earlier years, has been widely reported. In a 2007 interview with Entertainment Weekly, when asked if hip-hop should become more inclusive toward gay rappers, Busta reportedly refused to engage with the question. He left the interview entirely, saying only, "I can't even talk to you about that," and added, "What I represent culturally does not condone it whatsoever." This moment wasn't forgotten. Over the years, stories have surfaced describing alleged hostile encounters between Busta and LGBTQ+ fans. One widely cited incident dates back to 2006 when Busta was reportedly at a restaurant in Miami. The venue, known for its diverse and vibrant crowd, was said to be filled with drag performers, trans patrons, and gay men celebrating a local event. According to the report, a young gay fan approached Busta to compliment his comeback to the music scene. But instead of a nod or quick thank you, the interaction reportedly turned aggressive. Busta is said to have turned around and responded with harsh, offensive language in front of other diners. Whether viewed as an isolated moment or part of a larger pattern, this alleged behavior resurfaced as discussions around identity, power, and authenticity continue to evolve in the music industry. As more questions arise about Busta's private life, past public reactions like these are now being re-examined under a different light, suggesting there may be more at play than simple discomfort. The controversy surrounding Busta Rhymes continues to escalate as new individuals come forward with claims about their past interactions with the artist. Among the latest is social media personality Trip Alley, who recently shared a detailed account on his YouTube channel that quickly sparked debate across multiple platforms. According to Trip, an unexpected encounter with Busta took place in New York City, where he alleges Busta invited him to join a private VIP gathering. Initially, Trip interpreted the invitation as a networking opportunity, a chance to connect with prominent figures and explore new industry avenues. However, he described the situation taking a sharp and uncomfortable turn. Tripp claimed the invitation carried overtones that felt less about professional connections and more personal in nature. Comparing the approach to tactics reportedly used by other entertainment figures, Tripp said Busta offered a night out that included luxury accommodations and exclusive access, which he now sees as a red flag. Things reportedly went off track quickly. Tripp and a companion who accompanied him that night began to argue about the nature of the invitation. The disagreement escalated into a full-blown altercation, which ended in a physical confrontation. According to Tripp, the fallout from the incident left him shaken and rethinking the entire situation. The encounter reportedly concluded with Tripp abandoning his plans to attend the event altogether. Making matters more complicated, his companion left him stranded afterward, leaving him to navigate the city alone in the early hours of the morning. This story, while unverified, has further fueled the growing public curiosity about Busta Rhymes' social history and conduct behind closed doors. As more voices continue to emerge, the narrative grows increasingly complex, prompting new questions about behavior, accountability, and the blurred lines between celebrity power and public perception. Recent developments have taken an unexpected turn as Orlando Brown re-entered the conversation, making bold claims in a now viral video. Brown alleged that he had encounters with several major artists, including Diddy, Drake, Bow Wow, and notably Busta Rhymes. The internet reaction was immediate and intense. Orlando Brown's credibility has long been a topic of skepticism due to his public history of erratic behavior and controversial interviews. However, given the current climate surrounding Diddy and his inner circle, many are beginning to revisit Orlando's statements with fresh eyes. What was once dismissed as another outlandish rant is now being examined more closely. His earlier interviews, dating back before the November 2023 lawsuit filed by Cassie, included multiple references to high-profile figures in the music industry allegedly involved in questionable activity. At the time, these claims were largely ignored or mocked, but the tone has shifted as federal investigations into Diddy continue to uncover disturbing patterns. The connection between Diddy and Busta Rhymes adds weight to Orlando's mention. Their long-standing friendship, which spanned decades, was well documented through collaborations, performances, and public appearances. Since Diddy's legal troubles began, the silence from that circle has only fueled more speculation about who might be implicated next. Adding to the speculation is the recent emergence of claims that Busta is being blackmailed by an alleged former partner. Combined with Orlando Brown's accusations, the atmosphere is charged with uncertainty and growing curiosity. These connections are pushing audiences to reconsider previous assumptions and ask more pressing questions. As 2025 unfolds, the entertainment world is watching closely. Whether these claims hold weight or not, they highlight a larger shift in how power, secrecy, and personal behavior are being confronted within the industry. For Busta Rhymes, the combination of past associates and emerging allegations has placed him in the public spotlight, where every or not surface and circulate at light speed. The public remains divided. Some believe this is nothing more than a targeted smear campaign driven by opportunism and personal vendettas. Others suggest these stories reflect something deeper, an uncomfortable truth emerging from a long-kept past. Whether this is down-low drama inflamed by speculation or a serious situation rooted in long-standing behavior, the scrutiny isn't going away anytime soon. So, what's your perspective on this unfolding situation? Are these recent claims against Busta Rhymes just attempts at character assassination, or could there be something more beneath the surface? Is this a carefully manufactured smear, or the unraveling of hidden truths that have been quietly ignored for years? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and be sure to watch the next video because this story isn't finished yet. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a single update.
Mill came out saying that he'll pay somebody $100 grand to investigate that he has nothing to do with anything with Diddy.
You can't take back what your butthole receives.
Inside the maze of fame, power, and billion-dollar influence, there are relationships that stay hidden in plain sight until someone with nothing left to lose decides to speak up. That someone is Orlando Brown, the former child star often dismissed for his unpredictable behavior, but whose latest claims about private meetings between Meek Mill and Sean Diddy Combs are raising serious alarms. His descriptions are detailed, specific, and chillingly consistent with emerging patterns. This expose doesn't hang solely on Brown's words. It threads together a web of legal documents, archived interviews, and long-standing industry rumors, all pointing to a series of off-the-record sessions allegedly organized by Diddy himself.
No, Diddy. No, Diddy. Doing these in the booty like that. That's how I said. Meek Mill. Meek Mill's booty cheeks.
These weren't casual industry gatherings. According to multiple sources, they were highly exclusive and allegedly included key names from the upper echelons of hip-hop, Meek Mill among them. Now, with federal investigations closing in on Diddy, homes being raided, stacking up fast, those dragged into the light. And suddenly, whispers that once circled behind closed doors are becoming part of a much larger, undeniable story. Between 2023 and 2024, the foundation of Diddy's empire began to crack. Once hailed as the mastermind behind Bad Boy Records, a cultural tastemaker, and a multi-millionaire business force, Diddy now finds himself at the center of one of the most explosive legal sagas hip-hop has ever seen. What was once a brand built on influence and luxury is now surrounded by controversy and federal scrutiny. Multiple women have stepped forward with civil lawsuits accusing Diddy of orchestrating a disturbing network, one involving coercion, manipulation, and private VIP parties that some claim were designed as setups for blackmail. These allegations include claims of abuse, control, and trafficking under the guise of industry access and opportunity. The narrative no longer centers on music, it's about power and secrecy.
How did you feel when you saw this lawsuit that made it seem as if perhaps Diddy and Meek Mill had...
Why would they not have sex when they're gay rappers?
Do you think Meek Mill's gay?
We all know he's gay.
Then came March 25th, 2024. In a coordinated strike, Homeland Security agents raided both his Los Angeles and Miami estates. Footage from that day showed federal agents seizing electronics, documents, and surveillance materials from Diddy's residences. The raids were tied to a federal human trafficking investigation reportedly underway for over a year. Court filings painted a picture of surveillance systems, forced interactions, and a pattern of control involving emerging artists and prominent insiders. Although many names were redacted in official documents, whispers across the industry began linking certain regular attendees to these sessions, including one name that kept resurfacing, Meek Mill. Meek Mill's connection to Diddy goes back more than a decade. On the surface, it always appeared to be a mentor-mentee relationship, one built on respect and shared vision. Diddy often publicly praised Meek as a rising leader in hip-hop, someone destined to carry the torch forward for a new generation. The two were seen together at high-profile events, from Rock Nation brunches to private yacht parties, and even family-friendly functions like the Revolt Summit.
Rick Ross knows he's gay.
I didn't know. It's news to me.
Everybody, Rick Ross knows.
You think Rick Ross would sign a gay rapper?
Rick Ross knows he's gay, is what I said. Everybody know you paid me $2,000 to say that, right?
Me?
You only paid me $2,000
to say Rick Ross is gay? No, to say Meek Mill is.
Okay, well, yeah, Meek Mills is gay.
I've never told you to say that anyone is gay.
Right,
for the record.
So Meek Mills is gay.
No, he seemed very unhappy with that characterization.
In one interview, Diddy referred to Meek as the next voice of the streets, while Meek, in return, credited Diddy for pushing him to think bigger and expand beyond just music. It was a dynamic many in the industry viewed as powerful and aspirational. But as Diddy's legal chaos escalated, a cloud of uncertainty began forming. Rumors swirled. Why was Meek reportedly still involved in private meetings with Diddy as late as early 2023? What was discussed behind closed doors during those low-key visits? Insiders say these weren't your typical business strategy sessions. These were elite, invitation-only gatherings at highly secured locations, sometimes in Miami, sometimes deep in Bel Air. Security was tight, and reports mentioned guests having their cell phones taken at the entrance.
You gotta say no to Diddy. If it's new booty in the building, you know he gonna get it.
Don't take your girlfriend to a Diddy party.
Nigga, you can take the but he won't you.
These weren't casual conversations or contract discussions. Leaked emails and hushed industry chatter suggest these sessions had more ceremonial weight, spaces described by some as initiations into an exclusive inner circle. Orlando Brown's journey through the entertainment industry has been anything but smooth. Once celebrated as a promising actor and musician, his career unraveled through a series of public breakdowns, struggles with addiction, and controversial interviews. Yet in the chaos of his media appearances, a pattern has started to emerge. Some of his wildest claims have later been quietly confirmed behind the scenes. Despite his troubled reputation, his recent comments are sparking renewed attention, especially among insiders who are reevaluating past events with fresh eyes. Brown has previously spoken about undisclosed celebrity connections that later proved to be rooted in truth. Now, he's turned that attention towards something much darker.
Everybody, Bow Wow is raving.
Huh? Don't say that on here.
I said that.
Bow Wow's a good person, and what you said
Bow Wow is raving, and I had the pussy.
No, he's not.
Liar.
And you know what? You and Bow Wow has never been in the same room. I talked to him and he proved it, and he said you haven't. So stop capping on his name.
I fucked him, and I fucked him like this. Bitch, you like that? You like that?
No, you didn't. Like, you're just
trolling. Motherfucker, blood on my mama. Look at yourself. Look at yourself. Look at yourself.
You're just trolling. I know that.
In a recent podcast appearance, Brown was asked point blank about what some call ritual culture in Hollywood. The response left audiences stunned. "I saw Meek at one of Diddy's houses, man," Brown said. "I wasn't even supposed to be there. I was brought by somebody else. And when I realized what was going on, I bounced. But Meek, he stayed. It wasn't no music thing. That wasn't no record label meeting. That was some next level stuff." Brown didn't go into full detail, but his tone said enough. He claimed the gathering involved more than networking or business, and hinted at activities described as energy exchanges. The term, vague on the surface, seemed to echo allegations raised in lawsuits against Diddy, claims involving secrecy, coercion, and controlled environments. While unverified, Brown's account adds another layer to an already murky narrative that refuses to go away. For years, whispers have surrounded Diddy's infamous VIP gatherings. These weren't the typical flashy events posted on social media. These were elite private affairs held in ultra-exclusive settings, secluded mansions, luxury penthouses, and fortified estates. Guests reportedly included top-tier celebrities, models, executives, and influencers, all bound by strict non-disclosure agreements and a firm no cameras policy. Entry required heavy vetting, and once inside, nothing left those walls.
No, Diddy. No, Diddy. Don't be doing in they booty like that. Doing these in the booty like that. That's how I said. Meek Mill. Meek Mill's booty cheeks.
Been murmured about in industry back channels for years. And if Meek Mill had any involvement, even indirectly, it opens the door to more troubling questions. Was he knowingly a part of something deeper? Or was he drawn into a hidden system designed to entrap and manipulate under the pressure of power and influence? With mounting testimonies and legal investigations intensifying, what was once rumor is quickly becoming a case too widespread to ignore. One of the most striking elements in the Diddy fallout has been Meek Mill's total silence. While other artists made quick moves to separate themselves, some even mocking the situation publicly, like 50 Cent did through Instagram, Meek has remained notably quiet. Even as his name trended alongside Diddy-related hashtags and media coverage intensified, not a single public comment was issued. This silence hasn't gone unnoticed. Industry watchers and analysts suggest the quiet may be calculated. Meek Mill is currently linked to major platforms and partnerships, including Roc Nation and the Reform. Staying quiet might be a protective strategy. But critics are raising a different theory. They argue the silence doesn't just suggest caution, it could indicate fear. Fear of being implicated. Fear that something captured during one of those private sessions might resurface. In a world where digital footprints are permanent and secrets rarely stay hidden, the stakes are rising fast. The Diddy investigation has uncovered one central theme: surveillance. Multiple lawsuits filed by former insiders reference in-home monitoring, hidden rooms, and a collection of hard drives containing hours of recorded footage. These weren't just security cameras, they were part of a system designed to document everything behind closed doors. Now, with federal agents in possession of those materials, silence might no longer be a shield. It could be a sign that the clock is ticking. During the federal raids on Diddy's properties, agents reportedly confiscated a series of encrypted hard drives and digital storage devices. Sources connected to the case say what's been recovered is far more revealing than expected. Among the data uncovered was a detailed list of guests who attended private gatherings, with records dating back to 2018. Some of the names familiar, others downright shocking. Almost immediately, speculation spread that Meek Mill appeared on at least 3 of those guest lists, each tied to high-profile invitation-only events. Whether those appearances were tied to casual networking or something more concerning is still under investigation. But according to insiders, federal agents are now cross-referencing the names with hours of video evidence seized during the raids. One federal agent, speaking under strict anonymity, reportedly told a journalist, "We have hours of footage. We're reviewing who was there, what was said, and what happened. No one is being ruled out at this stage." That's the atmosphere surrounding Orlando Brown's recent comments. One of rising tension. If Brown truly witnessed anything, and that moment was captured on one of the seized tapes, then Meek Mill might be facing more than just internet chatter. If the footage shows anything questionable, whether direct involvement or passive participation, complications. What was once just rumor and speculation is now being reviewed in high definition, frame by frame, by federal authorities. And when the cameras don't lie, silence is no longer protection. It becomes part of the. Back in 2018, Meek Mill, national figurehead for criminal justice reform, following his highly publicized incarceration and controversial release. He became a symbol of the system's flaws and used that spotlight to partner with major names, Jay-Z, billionaire Robert Kraft, and others to form the Reform Alliance. Fast. Meek met with lawmakers, delivered speeches, and reshaped his public identity as someone dedicated to change. But behind that new image, the company he kept didn't shift nearly as much. While the spotlight portrayed a man focused on policy and reform, Meek remained tied to longtime industry allies. Figures like Diddy, Rick Ross, and others with reputations that occupy murky corners of fame, money, and unchecked power. Even after stepping into philanthropy and political advocacy, Meek was still being spotted at elite-level gatherings, many of which are now facing scrutiny under ongoing investigations. That contrast is prompting a wave of questions that can't be ignored. As more layers of the situation are peeled back, the conversation has shifted. Was Meek Mill truly undergoing transformation, or was he simply navigating the industry's undercurrents with more precision than most, rebranding in public, while keeping close ties to powerful circles behind closed doors? To fully grasp the depth of this unfolding story, it's essential to understand the long-established pattern of control surrounding Diddy's rise to power. His legacy isn't built solely on music or business. It's been shaped by controversy, lawsuits, and allegations that span decades, from former artists accusing him of withholding royalties to violent incidents in nightclubs, and now his name linked to an alleged trafficking network. The common thread has always been control through status and influence. What Orlando Brown described in his recent appearance aligns disturbingly well with what multiple accusers are now stating in sworn court documents. The pattern is clear. Individuals brought into elite environments under the guise of opportunity, then allegedly manipulated, isolated, and bound by fear, loyalty, or blackmail. If Meek Mill was involved in any part of that network, even unknowingly, the consequences could be severe. It's not just about legal exposure. It's about the irreversible impact on reputation, partnerships, and public trust. In an industry where image can make or break a legacy, these associations carry enormous weight. As more evidence surfaces, the question isn't just about who's guilty, it's about who knew what and when. Following Orlando Brown's explosive statements, multiple media outlets rushed to discredit him, labeling him unstable, unreliable, and dismissing his accounts as delusions. But Brown didn't retreat. In a series of live streams, he doubled down, insisting, "They want me gone because I saw what I wasn't supposed to." According to him, many others in the industry have seen similar things, but fear speaking out. He claims their silence is secured by binding contracts, confidentiality clauses, and hidden legal language that ties their careers to powerful figures like Diddy. The cost of telling the truth, he argues, is professional exile. At the same time, Meek Mill continues posting music snippets and occasional messages about reform on social media. Still, there's been no official denial of Brown's claims. No interviews, no legal threats, no rebuttals, just silence, and with every passing day, that silence grows more noticeable. Now, with federal agents fully engaged in the Diddy investigation and voices like Orlando Brown refusing to back down, the old industry armor is starting to fracture. What happens when the tapes are reviewed? What if Orlando Brown is brought into court and restates his allegations under oath? And the biggest question, what if those so-called private sessions weren't just rumors? What if Meek Mill's presence is confirmed, not just in whispers, but in names, logs, or video footage? The implications could reach far beyond music. It could impact political circles, philanthropic partnerships, and corporate boardrooms that once viewed Meek as the public face of hip-hop reform. The silence may not last much longer, and when the truth surfaces, it could change everything. As of June 2025, prosecutors are quietly building what insiders call the first major criminal indictment tied to Diddy's alleged trafficking operation. Multiple individuals once close to the music mogul have now flipped, cooperating with investigators and offering detailed testimony. A grand jury is actively reviewing the seized materials, including video evidence, communications, and guest lists. Sources say names will be revealed soon, and the industry is bracing for impact. If Orlando Brown's story is supported by what's found on those tapes, if Meek Mill is even indirectly implicated, the fallout could be massive. This wouldn't just alter the trajectory of one artist's career, it could redefine how the public views celebrity power, influence, and the structures that protected them for years. Because in a world of private sessions, secret recordings, and hidden agendas, the truth has a way of surfacing. And when it does, reputations don't bend, they break. This saga is far from over. Diddy's legal nightmare is only beginning, and the spotlight is widening. Every leak, every court filing, every cryptic social media post draws more attention to those once seen as untouchable. Meek Mill may not be the primary target, but if he stood by, stayed silent, or knowingly participated, the public won't look the other way. And if Orlando Brown's account holds up under federal scrutiny, the silence surrounding Meek won't just be questioned, it could be shattered. The next update could be the moment everything changes. So if you want to stay ahead of the headlines, don't miss a beat. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. This story isn't fading, it's just heating up.
Hey, what's up, King Son? Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, Daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you. Yeah.
It appears that Meek Mill just can't outrun the shadow of the Diddy scandal. No matter how many times he distances himself, the word on the street is heating up again, this time with claims that Meek Mill was one of Diddy's so-called sugar babies. The comparisons to Young Miami are flying, and the whispers say Meek was reportedly being paid heavily for spending time with Diddy.
I'm at a point in my life like we all grew up in the streets.
We're talking serious money. Allegedly, over $100,000 for each private session. The streets are buzzing with questions. What's real and what's just noise? Let's break this down. Not too long ago, Meek was shouting loud and clear that he had zero ties to Diddy. Despite the flood of videos, photos, and leaked audio clips surfacing, he denied it all. But fast forward to now, and something's changed. Meek Mill appears to be shifting his tone, and that's raising eyebrows. With a criminal trial for Diddy scheduled to begin May 5th and the mountain of evidence today, it seems Meek's survival instincts might be kicking in. He's reportedly looking to protect his image, maybe even flip the narrative.
They had a recording of Meek and Diddy
making love.
I don't know if it was love.
Okay, you have it? Let's hear it.
What? Yo, wait a minute. Wait, you didn't hear this? No. Now, Miran,
Yeah.
what does that sound authentic?
It absolutely.
Some believe he's preparing to separate himself entirely from Diddy's situation, possibly playing the role of a bystander who got caught in the crossfire. The public's watching closely to see whether this is damage control, a strategic pivot, or something deeper hiding in plain sight. Anyone who's been following closely already knows how the fire got started. Back in March of last year, everything exploded when an audio clip leaked online, and it took over the internet almost instantly. But this wasn't just any ordinary leak. This clip allegedly captured Meek Mill and Diddy in what many described as a highly intimate situation. The voices in the audio sparked instant speculation. Still, it's important to note, nothing has been confirmed. It remains alleged, and there's no definitive proof that it was really them. But social media didn't wait for confirmation. The reaction was immediate and explosive. Timelines lit up, hashtags trended, and speculation turned into full-blown commentary. Everyone jumped in, analyzing the clip and throwing opinions into the mix. Meek responded quickly, denying the whole thing outright. He claimed the audio was completely fake, created using artificial intelligence. He said online bots were being used in a campaign to tarnish his name. He posted, "My voice is so powerful as a black man from the ghetto worldwide. They want it gone. I'm a real king, straight out the trenches, under control of no human. They learned how to damage, can't stop us, off brands from bots and campaigns like politicians."
Yeah, I love this drink.
Where you put my bag
I like
at?
when you like this, Daddy.
Yeah, where you put my bag
Daddy,
at?
I like when you scrambling and scraping.
No, I got
I
notes
like
and
that.
shit. You know, I've been practicing. I got
Yeah,
notes
there you
and
go.
shit.
Got your note?
Yeah.
Man, but I'm talking about for your birthday.
Huh?
Why won't you party with me for your birthday, man?
Yeah, we partied for my birthday before. You came to my party.
No, but me and you ain't never really party, you know what I'm saying? Eyes, brother.
Oh, man.
Eyes. I understand. You know what I'm saying?
Strong words that grabbed attention. But despite the statement, public doubt remained. Many online users weren't convinced, and some even questioned if this was part of a bigger digital smear strategy. Either way, the pressure kept building. There's no denying that Meek Mill and Diddy had a tight connection. Photos and videos of them together backed that up loud and clear. So when that audio clip leaked, people started asking deeper questions. Who recorded it? Who released it? One early theory pointed to someone inside, possibly Diddy's own bodyguard. But then another name came into the spotlight, Nicki Minaj. That's right, Meek's ex. Jaguar Wright stirred the pot when she pointed the finger at Nicki during a podcast appearance. At first, it sounded wild, but then she dropped a clip where Nicki casually mentioned that Meek loves controversy.
You think that audio that they put out was real?
Yeah, that was him. Nicki put that out there. That Nicki recorded that at the freak off in the Calabasas. She been waiting to drop that shit on Meek. She just wasn't gonna tell nobody it was Diddy. But now that Diddy out there, why not?
And just like that, eyebrows went up across the internet. Was it a coincidence? Maybe, but it added a fresh layer of mystery to an already explosive situation. Could she have been behind the leak? Nobody can say for certain, but the streets were buzzing. Then came September 16th, and that's when the energy shifted. Diddy got arrested at a hotel, and the entertainment world shook. Instantly, timelines exploded again, and one name kept getting dragged back into the mix, Meek Mill. The connections were being drawn fast. People started asking if Meek knew more than he let on. Some questioned if he had been closer to the center of the drama than he ever admitted. The narrative flipped, from innocent bystander to potential key player in the chaos. Once things started heating up, the internet did what it does best, dug up every old clip and moment it could find. And one video in particular sent shockwaves across timelines. In it, Diddy called Meek Mill Daddy. That's right, Daddy.
Okay, so. But that's not a diss. Meek likes being brought up in that song. I don't know why you lowering his thing. You think you're doing him a favor. He's very, very happy being mentioned, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah?
Yeah?
And instantly, the reactions came pouring in. People were quick to ask, how many call their homies daddy like that? That one word set off a flood of speculation, and some began using that clip as supposed evidence that something more was going on between them. Meek didn't waste any time clapping back. He went straight to X, shutting down the rumors hard. He called it nonsense, made it clear he had no connection to Diddy's alleged criminal activities, and doubled down on distancing himself from the drama. But he didn't stop there. Meek dropped a bold move. He offered up $100,000 to fund an investigative team. The goal? To track down who's fueling the rumors and dragging his name through the dirt. He tweeted, "The streets know what's up with me. This not the case we talking about, business side. Somebody powering these bad campaigns with Meek Mill again. I got $100,000 for a thorough investigation of who's powering and how exactly my name connect to this." That's a major amount to clear your name, and it caught attention. Plenty of public figures have been tied to Diddy's name lately, but none have spoken as directly or aggressively as Meek. His decision to go public and throw cash behind an investigation, that shifted the spotlight again, raising more questions about why he's going that hard. It raises a serious question. Is Meek Mill trying to clear his name, or is there something else he's afraid could come out? Because this wouldn't be the first time Diddy's behavior sparked suspicion. On an old